Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child. And this movie came out in 1989 and directed by Stephen Hopkins. And I've never seen this movie before. I've seen the first four. I've seen Freddy vs. Jason. The rest of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, I have not. I haven't seen 5, 6, and New Nightmare. Those are the 3 that I haven't seen yet. And this movie was crazy, to say the least. And I remember 4 being really funny. And this movie was also very funny to me. It was a blast, and it was crazy, like I've said already. And it just went all out, and I was having a blast. And I'm not saying that this movie is great or good even. There are a lot of parts about it that are kind of annoying, but it does make up for it when it comes to entertainment value. The only positives that I have for this movie are some good practical effects at points, and I do like Robert Englund and as Freddy Krueger. I think he did a great job, and he has like good screen presence, and you can tell that he's just having a blast, and it's really fun to watch. Throughout this movie, there are just random things happening for no reason, and characters are just falling asleep, and you don't even know why. And the movie does eventually explain why our main character keeps falling asleep, and it's very, very funny. And this movie just doesn't stop. And the first half of this movie, I was loving it. Really annoying characters, and really stupid things going on, but it was being made up with all this cheesy nonsense and really bad dialogue and things that just go nowhere, and I loved it. The opening scene for this movie is basically just a sex scene, and it's one of the most awkward ways of presenting it. And I don't even know the best way to describe it. It was just, what were you doing? Like, you can barely tell what you're supposed to be seeing because it's mostly just close shots. And the opening scene of the movie was also kind of weird, like ignoring the opening credits scene. Like, the scene after that, I guess that's not really the opening scene, but like the opening for a horror movie. Like the first horror scene that we get, it was interesting to say the least. And I don't really understand what they were going for. It wasn't scary or interesting. And that's another thing about this movie. I wasn't scared by anything like I was with the original film. I just don't feel as though those moments are earned. And the way they treat Freddy Krueger in this is kind of goofy, and there are basically almost no rules in this movie. And I also found this movie to be kind of cheaply made at points. There was some audio peaking that was kind of distracting, and also some effects that looked kind of odd. And there was some really noticeable green screen at points, and I thought that was very distracting, and some bad stop motion effects that were also very noticeable. I also didn't really like the music for this movie. It just didn't complement any scene that it was in. And another thing that upset me was that they basically don't even use the original Nightmare on Elm Street theme. And it's used for like, I don't know, 1 second. Just a little tiny bit when our main character is following Freddy Krueger's mom. And that's it. And this movie also has a very clearly established setup for what the plot is, and our characters need to find Freddy Krueger's mom so she can help, and they completely ignore this for like 90% of the movie, and they're just doing nothing. I'm like, why don't you do what you're told? Would it be because the movie would be over in 5 minutes? Probably. And whenever we're in dream sequences, it's very entertaining. And there are moments where it did get kind of boring. Like one of the parts that I didn't really enjoy was the whole one couple who wanted to adopt our main character's baby. Like, that was unnecessary and did not need to be there at all. And it also goes nowhere. And the dialogue in this movie is terrible. Like, nobody talks like a real human being, and nobody uses their brains for anything. They just completely ignore what they're supposed to do. Like, our main character is told not to mention dreams or anything like that, but 2 seconds later, she mentions it and is just like completely caught into looking like a crazy person. And yeah, not very good at acting. Like, the character is not very good at acting. By far, my favorite scene in this whole movie was the feeding the one girl death scene. That was the best scene in the whole movie. And it also had my favorite line in the movie, where Freddy Krueger's just feeding her. And the dish that he feeds her is like a girl doll thing that has blood in it and guts and everything. And it's called Filet de Barbie. And that was like the funniest thing ever. I could not believe what I was watching, and it was so funny. So in the end, A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child is funny whenever it's taking place in the dream sequences, and lots of entertainment to be had in the first half. The second half is where it kind of starts to drag, but it does make up for it whenever you get back into the dreams. So check this movie out, not because it's good, but because it's so bad that it's good, and I enjoyed the ride. And with all that being said, I'm going to give A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child, a 3 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Yep, we're skipping 6, mostly because it's not on Netflix currently, and this one is, and I just want to catch it before it leaves. And apparently this one's supposed to be good. And this one's also directed by Wes Craven, just like the first movie. And that's why I'm gonna check this one out first before the 6th movie. Looking forward to this one, and I haven't seen this one at all. Well, actually, I've seen bits of it, but never the full thing. Same thing with the 6th movie, Freddy's Dead. And I've seen bits of both of those movies, but never the full thing. So I'm gonna check out the supposed good one before I finish the rest of this series off. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.